Hello, hello everyone. Uh, First of all, thanks for coming to this workshop that we are talking about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in the city of Barcelona. Uh, I will introduce you like some key facts or some key rules that to take account during this session. First of all, we want to invite you to make as many questions as you want. You can use the chat to ask as much things as you want about the different topics that we are talking in this workshop. The second one is to remember you that this session is being recorded by the organization. So in the next weeks or the next days, maybe you will access again, and if you don't take notes, maybe you can recover some questions that we have talked about in the next weeks, thanks to this that we are recording this session. After these two things, oh, okay, sorry, I was looking for the chat and I have been distracted. We are going to start, and I want to introduce the panelists of this workshop. The first one is Javier Falcó, that is founder and COO of Mi Cuento. Hello, Javier.
Hi everyone. Thank you for this.
Okay, and the second one is José Manuel Carol, that is the operative director of the startup of Banc Sabadell. Hello, José Manuel.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Barcelona Activa and the City Council for inviting us. For us, it's a pleasure to take this time with you, and I hope the session is good for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for being with us. And I am Xavier Dumont, and I am from Barcelona Activa. I am from City Council of Barcelona. And the idea of the session will be that Javier will explain the experience of setting up a business in Barcelona, and also he's going to explain about Mi Cuento, that is the startup that he's the founder of, one of the founders of the startup. And then José Manuel, we will introduce Banc Sabadell, that it's one of the most active players as an investor, but also funding startups and companies and entrepreneurs. And then I will be the last to introduce a little bit of what is doing Barcelona Activa to support entrepreneurs and companies, and to give you a little overview about how is Barcelona right now as an ecosystem for entrepreneurs. After that, we have prepared some questions, but the idea is that using the chat, as I told you before, as I mentioned before, you make as many questions, and then we will try to answer as many questions as you write in the chat. If not, we have prepared a lot of questions, so we will have a lot of topics to discuss during this session. And after that introduction, I will ask Javier to explain Mi Cuento and all the experience to setting up a business in Barcelona.
Thanks, Javier, and thank Barcelona Activa again and the Council for this opportunity. It's a pleasure for me as well. I will start what is Mi Cuento. Mi Cuento is a company based in Barcelona and that grew in Barcelona. Mi Cuento basically is a global digital company that combines technology with the power of story to offer personalized tales for children. More concrete, how does it work? And very easily, a user goes to micuento.com, choose the books he or she likes the most, personalize it with data of the children in 2 or 3 minutes. Then our software generate a unique personalized story for that kid automatically, and then the kid receive in any part of the world a hardcover quality printed book at its home in 7 days. Mi Cuento was co-founded by Muriel Bourgeois, who is the CEO of Mi Cuento, and me, who I am the COO, as you mentioned. Muriel is an expert in education and former founder of other educational venture, and me, I have a background in finance, and previously to Mi Cuento, I work in EPC. Mi Cuento began with actually with a passion of Muriel to be a storyteller. Basically, when she was in front of hundreds of kids in festival of storytelling, in order to grab their attention, she used to use a trick. Basically, the trick was to personalize the story for one kid, basically because the audience was very crowded, all the kids shouting, it was very difficult to grab their attention. So basically, the trick she used was pick one kid and ask, what's your name? And then she told all the story personalized for that kid. And then it was like a magical moment because all the kids were quiet, silent, and paying attention to the story. So every time she has this experience, ask herself, what if every kid of the world could have his or her personalized story? So at that moment, she was leading a very educational venture, and I was working in VC funds, and we met. We shared perspective, and she shared with me her vision about the storytelling, and me, and that vision showing with my vision of how to develop a scalable, sustainable business model based on technology. And in 2015, we started Mi Cuento. We started it from Barcelona with very few titles. And basically with the good sign of the metric we were achieving in Spain, our natural move was to expand to the most important speaking markets. It was Mexico, Argentina, United States. And since 2018, we are in all the European markets. We are in Italy, France, Germany. So currently we are in 11 countries, 7 languages, with more than 30 titles. We have sold more than 500,000 books, and we have important partnerships like Disney and The Little Prince. And to finish, I want to highlight an important release we have just done without basically in our website. We have just launched our dyslexia version of The Little Prince, which is a unique and new things. And we have done this with in a partnership with Luz Radio and Chase Dyslexia, and we are so proud to announce this. Basically, this is what is Mi Cuento. Regarding our evolution and in Barcelona, I would like to, in terms of financing and all the help we receive, there in our short history there were many important advisors, investors, and key stakeholders, but I would like to point out here 3 which were key in our history, and at the beginning, especially when it's the hardest situation. First, of course, Barcelona Activa. Not only Barcelona Activa, not only because it was our home for more than 3 years, but also because of all the ecosystem with all the startups, which make a unique ecosystem, and also because of their professional staff who constantly offer us training, networking events, courses, etc., which were very important at the beginning. Another stakeholder I want to point out were very critical for us was Intellection Venture, which is a financial boutique specialized in startups. Intellection help us with very important strategic decisions and also with the structure of our fundraising. And the third one is Be a Startup from Banco Sabadell, that and personally Jose Carol, who was always with us in Mi Cuento. Banco Sabadell was the leader of our seed round in 2016, and since then has always given us support in every key decision of the business. I think, well, this is more or less a basic introduction. So then if there is question, and I would be happy to answer.
Okay. Thank you, Javier. I have checked some notes, and I will ask you something if our attendance that doesn't make it, but we will leave the questions for the next part of the session. So now, please, Jose Manuel, the stage is yours.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Xavier, and thank you, Javi, for the agreement. For us, it's a pleasure for, having invested in Mi Cuento, and it's a company, and we are really happy with how it's working and how it's growing. So thank you very much. Well, first of all, I'm going to introduce Bank Sabadell. Maybe I suppose that almost all of you know who we are, but I want to say like a few sentences of who we are. Banco Sabadell is the fourth banking group in Spain. We were born in 1881, so we are almost 140 years old, 100 older than I am. And in 2018, mainly to know which were roughly our main figures, we have like 220,000 million under management. We were 26,000 employees. We had 12 million customers, and we were having 2,500 branches in Spain. And what I'm here is to explain you what is BStartup. BStartup is the startup banking business unit. Who we are? We are a business unit that was created in 2013. With two different financing options. The first one from our core, which of course it's banking, and the second one from the investment side, which was BStartup 10, which is one of our first investment vehicle that we created in the bank in 2013. So what is BStartup 10? I will now introduce first the investment side. I want you to explain not only BStartup, I want to explain the whole vehicles that we have in the bank from startup investment. And then I will talk about the banking side. So from the investment side, BStartup 10, it's our first vehicle that we created, as we said before, in 2013, in November. We invest 100K ticket per company. We invest more or less in 10 companies per year. And we have invested till today in 61 startups. We have really good investments like Red Points, Mi Cuento, Signaturit, Sayus, Stay for Long, Exotica. So till today, we are really happy on how our portfolio it's going. We invest in seed stage. We invest in digital or tech companies in early stages, 100K, and normally we co-invest with other investors. And our investment, it's focused in Spain. All our companies that we have invested in are Spanish or in Spain located. But we can invest in Portugal also, but we haven't done it yet. Just to know, we invest in digital or tech. We are agnostics in sectors. So, sorry, something here appear on my screen. Sorry, and we are agnostic in sectors, but we invest in digital companies normally when they have like a product or service on the market and they are starting with their first KPIs. But we can invest on early stage earlier in companies that are maybe on deep tech sector or health sector when you need quite a large amount of investment before coming up in the market. Then we have Sabadell Venture Capital, which is a vehicle that we have from investing in pre-Series A and Series A. We invest from 200K up to 2 million, but the average ticket or the average investment ticket is roughly 500K. Sabadell Venture Capital, have made until today 32 investment. 32 investment, I think. And almost between 30 or 35% of the startups that have been invested by Sabadell Venture Capital were invested first by BStartup 10. And then we have Sabadell Venture Capital. It's not a part of BStartup, but it's a part from the bank. And then I also want you to introduce InnoSales, because it's also a part that it's not from BStartup, but does things with a startup. What is InnoSales? InnoSales have also an investment vehicle, which is called InnoCapital. And InnoCapital, it's the corporate venture arm of the bank. So what they do is they invest on startups that could be core for the bank or strategic with the bank. They may invest it from 500K up to 3 million. That will be like a resume from our investment side. Then from the commercial banking, what we have done? We have done one thing, well, or two different things mainly. The first one is we have specialized banking branches for startups. And in the cities where we can find large number of startups like Barcelona, Madrid, or Valencia, this specialization have become to a creation of new position, which we call the PMB startup. What is a DPMB startup? The PMB startup, it's a banker that only have a startup in its client portfolio. So that means that this banker can speak the language of a startup. They know about digital business model. They know what is a business angel. They know who is Enisa, who is Barcelona Activa, and well, they can speak the same language as the entrepreneur. And just you to know, in Barcelona we have two specialized banking branches. One it's in Llacuna, which is really close to Barcelona Activa, and the other one is located in Diagonal Balmes. And on top of creating these specialized banking branches, what we have also specialized is the risk circuit, which is this thing is really important because if you are a startup and you go to a bank and you want to take a loan, and the operation, it's seen that if you were an SME, it would be really hard to give a loan for a startup. That's why we specify the risk circuit. And when a startup comes to the bank asking for a loan, the analyst or the risk analyst that take a look at the operation is specific for a startup. That means that since 2014, we have been really active in financing startups also from the banking side, which is not the normal financing size for a startup. And then finally, we do another thing that is we try to make open innovation with a startup. What we are doing here is we try to make like partnerships or being client or whatever with a startup. So when we have a company, a startup that can be interesting for the bank, we try to move this startup inside the bank and we try to make a deal with the startup. And this is in almost 5 minutes what is be a startup from Banco Sabadell. So thank you.
Thank you, Jose Manuel. I will take one moment more. I will require a little bit more of you, Jose Manuel, because there's a question that maybe it's the moment to make to give an answer to James. James asked if this is an investment of a loan or how the investment is structured in the startup or in the innovation or in all the bankability, sorry.
So we do two different things. James, no, I think was the name that you said before. So James, we do two different things, which are mainly two things that are different. The first one, it's investing. That means that we invest on a company. Exactly in this startup 10, we invest 100K per company, and we invest this amount of money. And what we take, it's an equity stake. The equity stake that we take, it depends on the valuation, but normally it's between 4 to 10%, okay, to have like an average. And then what we also do, it's financing startups from the banking side. So giving loans to startup, and then that we earn an interest, and it's like a normal loan that you can take for an SME, but for a startup. I don't know if it has been clear. If not, just please use the chat box, and I will be more like, okay, thank you. It's clear. Thank you very much, James.
James, I don't know if the second question was about the English website. I have copied the link to the English website because the first one was in Catalan. So sorry, it was doing so many things at the same time. Okay. Okay, so I will present Barcelona Activa, and then we will start to move, because there are a lot of questions in the chat, and to try to give answer to all of them. First of all, we are the local city council, local agency, and our aim is to develop all the economic policies of the city council. What we are doing right now in Barcelona Activa, and the part that we are talking about today, is to support entrepreneurship, support also social innovation, and support companies in our city. What we are providing: services, trainings. We are also offering incubation, and then the idea here is that everyone, from the moment that I have an idea, can you give me an idea to set up my business, to the end of this process to set the company, and then to start going to the market, to find more people, to find more talent for the company, and to go for funds, to go for in an international plan. So we are offering all support in all the process, from the beginning to the end of the company. So the idea is that you can you can use it as many times as you want. Most of them are free. Well, are not free. It's not true. It's paid by the taxpayers, but most of them, it doesn't mean that you will have to pay something for these services. The unique service that you have to pay, and maybe aquí Javier can explain it better than me, is that to stay in the incubator. There's a price that we charge you to be there, but the idea here is that we don't take equity for anything, and all it's equity free, and all it's free of charge, except this incubator. Why Barcelona Activa is doing that? Why Barcelona supports entrepreneurship? Barcelona, in a lot of different rankings from European countries and European cities, it's always top 5 or at least top 10 in the most innovative or most business-friendly cities in Europe. And this is the reason, because 30 years ago, the city council decides to start to support entrepreneurs and to support companies in the city. And also 10 years ago, we started to support also international companies to come to Barcelona. And then what we try to focus is in all these steps that I told you before, from the idea to generate the business model, to develop the business plan, to set up the business legally, and to grow the company. What we are focused is in helping to make a feasible product, a feasible project that will allow you to live from your project. This is the idea, to support entrepreneurship, and also because supporting entrepreneurship and supporting companies will provide citizens for a new jobs that they can apply. So this is the idea, and I will finish to talk about Barcelona Activa, because we have just 25 to 30 minutes more, and maybe I will give you I have here a question, because there's a lot of questions here, and I have with someone. Sorry. And then we will start to make some of the questions that you make us. Some of them are a little bit more specific, and I will try to give you a very quick answer, or maybe Jose Manuel, or maybe Javier. Here, Javier, maybe there's a question that Javier, Jose Manuel, there's a question that maybe you can answer also. That it's Jamil, maybe from the B Startup side. He says that how can I have support of an accelerator or incubator to do a startup? I am from a non-European country. Here, I don't understand, Jamil, exactly if the problem is about visas. This is one kind of problem, or the question is if this kind of accelerators, incubators, or investors in the city are investing in international companies. And maybe Javier, from this part of the Jose Manuel, from this part of the question about if you are investing in non-Spanish or non-European companies, maybe you can give them an answer here. You are mute, Javier. Hi, Jose Manuel. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's the question was if he can have support from an accelerator or incubator to do a startup.
Yeah, but he quotes that he is from a non-European country. So here maybe it's a visa problem, or it's about setting up the business. But maybe I will ask you if you are investing in non-European startups.
No, we are invested we are investing in well, not just European. We are investing in Spain. We can invest also in Portugal, but from the Big Startup 10, we are investing just in Spain. But Sabadell Venture Capital and InnoSales can invest worldwide. By their InnoSales, normally they invest internationally, but Sabadell Venture Capital also maybe the 95% of the portfolio is located in Spain, maybe 100%, and the only one that it's not located in Spain is because they have made a reallocation of the company when they were invested by a USBC. So
I might be able to help with the answer. I don't know because one thing is the company, another is the person, the visa status, and that. In terms of the company, as Jose said, it's very easy to create a ESL, a Sociedad Limitada, what Mi Cuento did, and if you make an agreement with an investor or an incubator, it's very cheap. You only need 3,000 euros of capital, and then the fees to the lawyer. And in terms of visa, which is my experience, if you have a project, there is an entrepreneur residency that lasts 2 years, and you can renew if the company is doing good. And after 5 years of having that, because I'm not European, and you get the residency. This is and Barcelona Activa, as far as I know, help you with the advisory of all these processes.
Yeah, this is the idea here. What you have to take in account is where are you from and which are your legal status right now, respecting in Spain, because you can be from a European country, but maybe you are not from a European country and you are here in Barcelona living with some kind of permit or visa. Then you have different kind of options to set up the business. One of them is the entrepreneurship visa that Javier has explained you, and you can have more information. I will try to bring you information from this entrepreneurship visa and write it here down in one of the chats, so then you can check in the Spanish government which are the specific things that you need to achieve to obtain this visa that will allow you to set up a business, and then it will be easier to enter and to be supported by accelerators, or being invested by investors. I will take this is a question a little bit specific about, I don't know what you're saying here, Michelle. I think that the best thing that you can do, I will also write here, I will write you our website, and maybe you can ask an appointment with us, and we can try to work with the financial plan that you've got, because you are starting to devise my financial plan for my business, and I also am having trouble understanding how I should keep accounts and do the legal things related to being freelance. Here, as Javier has said, it's very easy to set up a business. Barcelona Activa and other institutions in the city, we have the one-stop shop to set up the business as a Sociedad Limitada, a limited liability company, as Javier has said before, but also to set up you as a freelance, and then you can start your business as a freelance, and it's for free, this service. So we can help you to set up the legal status of freelance. And if you are talking about accountancy, as a freelance, it's not mandatory to have an accountancy as a limited liability has to do. You have to take your records, and you have to develop your tax payments and all the stuff. But it's not mandatory to have this accountancy records as a freelance. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. I mean, it's a good thing to do, but it's not mandatory. So maybe we can help you here to give you some clues about what to do or what not to do during your first year as a freelance. I will write you our website, and you can ask for an appointment there. It's as I told you, it's for free. So this is so specific. Sorry to my panelists, because this is too specific. But then we can go down. We are talking here. Jose Manuel, I don't know if you have seen the message from Peter. You can see the message from Peter.
Well, Peter.
I am CFO at HSBC in London. I am planning to move to Barcelona and wondering about senior level fee and roles within the banking sector. Example, Sabadell. Are Spanish language skills essential, or is English sufficient? I have reached out via LinkedIn into.
Okay, Peter, what if you said that you have like invite me through LinkedIn? I will move your contact with someone related with human resources department, because it's not my strength. But we have, as far as I know, we have people. I think that we have people that only speak English in the bank, but I don't know if it's at management level or not. I will ask, and I will come to you through LinkedIn with an answer. Okay.
Another direct to you, Jose Manuel. At Banco Sabadell, there are people we can speak to in English.
Yeah, of course. As I said before, we have startup branches, but we also have branches that are specific for expats. And there we have people that speak English, French, and I don't know where are you located, Michelle, but if you want, if you are in Barcelona, for instance, the branch that is located in Balmes Diagonal, it's for sure for expats. So you can find there people that can speak English and other European languages.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Jose Manuel.
And of course, in other branches, we have people that speak English. I speak English, and I am not on an Excel branch. And you have a lot, but we have some specialized branches for expat, and on top of speaking English, they can also advise people that want to come to Barcelona, want to set up their family in Barcelona.
Okay, Javier, this question is for I want to hear your opinion, and I will give my opinion also. Javier, did we need a business plan to have support to build my business?
Sorry, again?
Yeah, sorry. Did we need a business plan to have support to build my business? I mean, in this case, for the question for me to you is, did you do a business plan? It helps you to obtain fundings to whatever.
It's a good question. And honestly, yes, we did it, and you might need it depending on the investor, and depending what you call a business plan. A business plan is it? Are you talking about a financial plan of 5 years with every details? Some investor ask it, some not. When we started, we did it because some investor asked it, but. If I were an investor, or in order to develop your strategy, because I would say the main investor of starting a company is the entrepreneur, because it's risking a lot as well. The opportunity cost, and you need a business plan. And when you are starting, it's very difficult and if something novelty, to make a projection of 5 years maybe in a new market. Sometimes it's a lot of use of time that is useless. You need to, my advice very briefly, because I have less time, but then we can discuss later. But my advice to have to know which market are you going, which basic resource you need to validate an hypothesis, not in a scale, and to make a deep analysis of the economics, the business unit, which will be the margin of that. That has to be clear, rather than that you will go from 0 to 100 million in 5 years. If you are in idea stage, for me, it's kind of useless.
Okay, well, that's true. That's true. But here, Carmen, if your question is, I need a business plan to receive support from Barcelona Activa or to support from anyone, the answer is no. We can help you to develop a business plan if you need it, develop a business model canvas, or with all the tools that you will need to develop your business. But I think that the business plan, it's as Javier has said, it's not good to make a business plan for 5 years with all trying to see all the things that will happen in 5 years. That's impossible. I mean, that's impossible and unnecessary. What I think that the business plan should be, it's a very executive summary that you can present, and that you have the ideas, that you have clear what you have to do, and the big picture, because the details are impossible to know all the details. So this is the idea. To have a business plan, for me, it's a good thing, because as Javier has said, they will be required to enter maybe to incubators, to enter to investors. So the idea is it's not a bad thing to do. Here, Jose Manuel, maybe you have a better answer than me for the first part of the question. Maybe the second, it's complicated to give an answer, and I will try to do it. But Ryan asked us, I am trying to take a PhD project to the private sector. Can you please advise how a founder can address the financial difficulties of EdTech for seed round funding, as opposed to FinTech or life sciences? Maybe here, I don't know if you, Jose Manuel, can give us a little bit or a brief idea about the EdTech investment in Spain, or in Barcelona in Spain. I don't know here if you have.
But he's asking that wants to set up a company, because he's saying that he's trying to take a PhD. And
no, PhD project. I mean, I think doing this PhD, they develop a project. I think they develop a technology or something, and then they want to bring it to private sector. And the idea is how a founder can address the financial difficulties of EdTech for seed round founders.
I think EdTech nowadays EdTech, I think it's a really good sector to be in, because well, it's because from COVID has made us like do everything online. We have advanced in 2 months, that we have the same that we will need, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years because of the COVID. And from my point of view, EdTech now, it's a hot sector. So I think you are on a good sector to try to find funding. The advice on how can you address the different financial players, I think we are almost quite open to receive information of new startups that are, or new projects in this case, but I think that the project will become a startup if it works. So I think almost all the investors are really open to receive investment opportunities. So don't hesitate to contact every investor through the website or through LinkedIn. But the advice that I can give you, it's that you have to address these investors that invest on seed stage. Don't waste your time and the investor time trying to invest, trying to contact, a Series A fund. But you can address them through the email or through LinkedIn, and for sure they are going to answer you.
Okay. And the second part of the question, and I don't know, Javier, if maybe you have, as a founder of My Cuento, did you this exercise that Ryan has done? Is I have been told that, I also have the opportunity to establish the company in the US versus Spain. I have been told that it will be about 3,600 euros here in Spain versus 100 the cost to set up the business in $100 to set up the business in the US. How can I overcome this large difference? I mean, Javier, I don't know if you did this exercise.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. I'm not an expert in US, but this cost of 3,000 is not a cost. You need 3,000 of capital. And I'm sure, but maybe in US they require less capital, but I'm sure that to pay an office and a salary in US will be higher than in Spain. You need 3,000 euros of capital, and then some fees that you will have to pay to some lawyer, which I bet they are lower here rather than in US. So this is the true comparison. Maybe a Delaware or a C Corp in California may not require any capital. Maybe it's true, but It's money that you put in the company and then you can use to pay salaries or whatever.
Yeah, totally agree with Javier. The cost of setting up a business as a limited liability company in Spain right now, if you are using this one-stop shop, it's about 200 euros plus 20 to 50 depends on in the cost of the Registro Mercantil Central. The other part is the equity of the company that that you can use it as you want after that. So, but you have to have 3,000 euros in an account in this moment to set up the business. Michelle, your question is for Barcelona Activa, so I will not read it. I will it directly. Yeah, in the website it says that the appointment is in Catalan, but don't worry, the advisors in Barcelona Activa are doing their job in Catalan, Spanish, or English. The problem is that we cannot provide technologically the 3 languages in the website. So sorry, but yeah, it's not a problem. You can do it in English, the advisory. No, we don't need invoices right now. So this is more for Barcelona Activa, and I give the answer. Okay, you have also here support, Jose Manuel. Jose Manuel, Natalia, a teacher colleague from you from Banc Sabadell Extranjeros, ask if you can explain a little bit more of the offices that you've got specialized in expats.
Yeah, Natalia, I didn't know if you hear it before, but I said that we have offices or branches, sorry, banking branches specialized for expat, and then they can find bankers that, of course, they speak other they speak European languages, not just English, and they can help people to move to Barcelona and to set up their families, schools, housing, services, and whatever. I just explained this before. I don't know if maybe you were not connected, but that's what I explained to, I think was Michelle, the one that was asking for branches that can speak, that are able to speak English. And I told her to address to the branch that we have in Balmes Diagonal, which is also for foreigners.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The next question is from Oscar. That what are the legal steps to start a limited liability company in Barcelona? First, as Javier has said at the beginning, here there are 2 steps. The first one about the founders, if they have all the visas that are needed to set up the business in Spain. This is one of the things that you have to take in mind about setting up the business. And the other part is you have to start looking for the Registro Mercantil Central to have the name of the company, that you can the name of the company, not the brand. It's the name of the name of the legal name of the company, not the brand. There are 2 different things. Once you have that, the next step, the easiest one, is to go to a one-stop shop that is Barcelona Activa, for example, and they will give you provide you all the information to set up the business, to sending all the information to the tax office and to the social security office, and then the business is created. Here, and maybe it's a question for you, Javier, that I will try to if you can give you a little bit more information, and if you have did it, there are some other questions that you have taken account in a legal way, but they are not mandatory. The first one is what it's called pactos parasociales, that it's the pact that all the founders and all the investors are doing in the business, that it's interesting to do that. It's not mandatory, but it's interesting to do that. And I don't know, Javier, if you did it at the beginning.
Well, yeah, I will to what we did, but I want to add something. In order to create a company, you don't even need a visa or a residency. You need a NIE, which you can take it from any council in any part of the world of Spain in 1 week. Of course, and then to stay in Spain, you will need a visa or a residence depending on the country where you are from. Making this comment, what we did, we at the beginning, we create our first formal legal shareholder agreement when we receive our first investment. which was done by, we did it with Crowdcube, which is a crowd equity platform. And then we received we did a seed round where Bank Sabadell was the lead of investor, and we did a shareholder agreement, and that's it. Every time you close a round, but my advice, if you're starting a business with the founder, you should write a shareholder agreement, like how you will behave in case in any situation. Even if you are very good friends or whatever, it's better to leave it clear.
Exactly. And then other thing that you have to take in account is if you want to register your brand. This is another step that it's not mandatory, but it's important to do also.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
In anywhere in the world, you have to do that.
Yeah. I know. But I mean, as we haven't said anything about, but it's not mandatory. I mean, you have to do it, but it's not mandatory. Brian asked us if we can recommend him a good place, source, company, forum to find other entrepreneurs who are looking for partners. Here there are several networkings, for example, Barcelona Loves Entrepreneurs, or there are other focal points for entrepreneurship as Tech City, or there are events of networking. Nowadays, maybe they are all online, not you cannot do it on site, but maybe this is one of to start with to do that. For example, in Barcelona Activa, we are doing also one networking event every month, but usually it's in Spanish, not in English. So maybe it's not what are you looking for. I don't know if you have done maybe meetups. There are a lot of meetups in Barcelona also, maybe, but not right now. I don't know if you have other options for him.
No, sorry, Javier.
I would mention Barcelona Tech City, which is something that appeared at the beginning of the year when the mobile and the 4-year for now, which is a very important event of the city, was cancelled. It's organizing many webinars and online sessions, and it's a very interesting space to be linked.
And I know that maybe some accelerators like Nucleo or Demium or are doing like weekends for finding co-founders, but it's more if you want an accelerator because or a venture builder, because the venture builder is going to take an important stake of the company, and it's not for expats. So, well, it's not for expats. Expats for sure are welcome, but it's not just specific for expats. So I think it's not the thing that you are looking for, Brian.
Okay. Jose Manuel, the next one is for you. I have a question about health and medical technology startups. These usually require relatively large initial funding and a long product development time before going to the market. Which investment vehicles would you recommend for startups of this nature?
It's go pitch like this. It requires large amount of funding, but you can find a lot of investors that are starting to invest in this field. There are now quite a lot of business angels which are starting on seed stage in health. We have a program that is called Be Startup Health, in which we invest in 3 startups per year. On startups that are related with health, biotech, medical devices, and so on. And then you have, for other stages, you have investors like Sabadell Savis, which is a fund that invests in health. You have also Isios, you have Nina Capital, you have you have also, I don't know which is the name of the fund, but Dr. Pareras has also a fund that invests in health. And I think Barcelona, it's the best place in Spain for setting up a company related with health, because we have, a really good health system and health ecosystem in Barcelona.
Okay. The next question is a question. I will try to make a little briefing of the question because it's too large. Christian asked us that he has a company in Uruguay, and the question here is, which is the best mode to establish ourselves here in Barcelona, as bringing here the company, or start from zero here in Barcelona? So which is the best thing to do? So if we bring the company from Uruguay to Barcelona, or starting from zero from Barcelona? From my point of view, we have to check a little bit we need to know a little bit more of your company. One of my colleagues has been in the chat, it's Emily, that he has also, he's part of the landing services of Barcelona Activa. And maybe using him or using the service of entrepreneurship, sorry, Christian, here we can check which is the best option for you, because and sometimes it will be better to stay the company, to bring here like a subsidiary, but in others will be better to set up the business. But here we have to check in account also if with the legal permits to stay and to work in Barcelona. So there are too many things to know, and there very short information in your question. So here maybe I will at the end of the session I will put here all the links that you demand, and one of them will be these services of landing, but also a service of entrepreneurship. And if you contact one of them, we will try to give you with more information. We can give you a better answer. Sorry. We will continue. Sorry, I have lost the point. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you for asking my question. There's a question here that maybe Javier, for you, this is for you. It's possible to start a business without any capital?
In Spain, yes, but as a freelancer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
As a company, as we said, no, it's not possible.
Yeah,
$3,000.
Yeah.
Euros, sorry.
Exactly. Here, what the idea here is maybe that depends on the business. You can develop a bootstrapping strategy, and then you don't need an initial, but you have to check in account all the risks that you will take doing that. Jose Manuel, maybe this is for you. Rodrigo has identified a company that he wants to buy in Barcelona. Where can I get funds for this? Also, any programs or incentives to invest in new machinery? But maybe the first one for you.
Yeah, the first one, it's you can get funds from investors, of course, and the kind of investor you should address, I think it depends on which kind of company are you or have you identified, sorry, because you have just identified yet. So I think, yes, you can find money for investors, but you should address one kind of investor or another, depending on the kind of company, if it's tech or not tech, industrial or not industrial, and then also on the stage that the company is in and the amount of money that you are looking for. I don't know, when you have all these things, you can, if I were you, I would try to make a short list of which kind of investor should I address. But I think that all this information, sector, stage, and money, it's should be required for addressing the good one.
Okay. The next one, maybe we have we have answered before, Nico, about what is the procedure for opening a company and what are the possible residence permits for the founders. Javier has explained something that's important, but to set up a business, the process is the same. What is different is the residence permit for the founders. Here, as Javier has said, exists the non-residency fund, NIE, that allow you to invest in companies in Spain, to set up business in Spain, not living in Spain. But if you want to come to live to Spain, there are mainly two different ways to enter to have a business in Spain. The first one is the entrepreneurship visa, as Javier has explained before, and also is the old way to do that. I don't remember exactly the name in English for the residence and work permit, but it's for to self-employed. And this is a too large and very complicated way. The easiest way to do that, if you are from a non-European country, is the entrepreneurship visa. But you need to develop an innovative company. But the procedure of opening a company is exactly the same. How can I fund, Elvis asked us, maybe Javier or Jose Manuel, how can I fund startup capital in Spain?
Me?
Yeah, well, both.
If you want to start, I don't mind, Javi, as you like.
How can you fund? The question is how to raise capital, basically.
I understand that. It's how can I fund startup capital in Spain, but I understand that how to raise capital equity in Spain. Yeah.
Depends the stage where you are. I think I would generalize. Jose, correct me then but that at the beginning you will need to start with funds. I would say we call it's called the 3F. I like to say 2F, which is friend, family, and the third is full, but I took always the third, is family and friends. Because in my experience, in order to receive at least a small amount of capital, you need to prove that at least some metrics, some figures, and that you have at least some traction, minimal. So in order to do that, you have to do it with. It's very difficult, in my experience, to receive funding. After you prove that and you have a clear business plan, like the big picture, as Xavier was saying, with which is your idea, which is your market, the team, which is the most important thing to execute an idea. There are many options. There are many options. There are a lot of accelerators, incubators, company builders, and in Spain that Jose can describe better.
And I think for city stages, you can address business angels. You have some associations, for instance, like ATS, ESADE, that are two of the top business schools that we have here in Barcelona. Then you can also address other business angel networks, like, for instance, Ciprocket. For digital startup, it works really, really good. And then if you are on another stage, you have to address funds, VC funds that we have quite a lot in Spain and also in Barcelona.
Okay. Well, we are on time, but maybe if we can do two more questions. If not, the other one, I will try to write it because I want to give answer to everyone. Javier, the last one for you. Where to start with the shareholder agreement? Outline or framework for beginners you can recommend to Colin?
Sorry, which is the question again?
It's where to start with the shareholder agreements. I mean, which are the things that this shareholder agreement should have at the beginning?
I mean, you mean the shareholder agreement, the formal with an investor, or if you are not receiving an investor?
I understand that it's as he said, outline or framework for beginners. I understand that it's for founders, maybe for
founders. Basically, a shareholder agreement should state if, for example, the most important thing is if one founder leaves, because you will be 50. For example, if you're two founders, or you will be 50% of the shares, so you have to make an agreement. If someone leaves, what happened with those shares? Because it's very important to know that the value of those shares are absolutely depend of the execution of the idea, and the execution will take years. And in order to, if one founder leaves, you will give to another founder other shares. So there have to be an agreement on that. There is no general rule. Depend of the project of the people, but you have to agree on that and make an agreement, because if then the event take place, it's going to be harder to negotiate. Or And again, depend of the person as well. In my case, one of the things I'm most proud is the relationship I had with my parent. We get along very well. We complement, and we didn't need a shareholder agreement, and I don't need it. We have it because we have other investors, but in terms of us, it's very clear. We trust, but it's not always like that. We did have other partners, and it's necessary. Other important things, I don't know, maybe remuneration, how it's going to be. But I don't know if your experience, Jose, to add something here.
It was you were, which was exactly the question, sorry, because I answered.
No, don't worry. Sorry.
Basically,
agreement.
The question is not a formula, because I wanna make an statement. Whenever you have an investment, the investor is gonna want. It's about the shareholder agreement, the question and debate, and whenever there is an investor, they will draft the template of the shareholder agreement, and they will ask you how the governance of the company will be, which will be their decisions, book decisions, some decisions that will not require their vote, or what happened with the share of the founder if someone leave, whatever. But the question is before that, because I recommend that if you are creating a company and you are not in raising capital, you write an agreement and said, the question is, where should we start? And I said, the one thing is, what happened with the share if someone next year goes to work to another place, for example, and also remuneration, or some decisions have to be made by father and another one. And I mentioned that in my case, based on the relationship, in my special case, I didn't need it. We didn't need it. We have it because we have other partners. But if you are thinking about creating a company, I would suggest to write it, because even with friends, it's better to have things clear.
I totally agree with you, Javier. I think that shareholders agreement, it's really a compulsory thing, and when before we set it and sign it, before the better, no? So if I were starting a business, the first thing I will do, it's sign with my co-founders a shareholder agreement, because the best thing is to have it, just keep it locked on a wardrobe or whatever on your desk and never use it. Okay, it's perfect, but it's something happen, as Javier said before. If you are a three founders company, and one of the founders receive, I don't know, a really good job offer and take it, what is going to happen with this 33% of the company, of the shares that he has? So before having this kind of problems, it's better to set up the conditions before you start the match, before you start playing. And of course, if you don't worry, because if you are not having a shareholder agreement on at the beginning of your startup, you will have it later for sure, because when an investor comes, and if it's a professional investor, they are going to put you a shareholder agreement on the table. So I agree with you, Javier, totally.
Okay. Then I think that it's time. We have passed these 5 minutes. I think there are some questions that has not been answered, but don't worry. I will try to give an answer. Maybe not a specific answer from Jose Manuel and from Javier, but I will try to write you the answers from your questions in the chat. But it's time. And first of all, I want to thanks for Jose Manuel and for Javier for sharing with us your experience and your knowledge. So I appreciate a lot your time and all this knowledge that you bring us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Xavier. It was a pleasure, and thank you for the audience. For me, I had a really nice time. So I hope you all the same have the nice time I had. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Xavier, and thank you all the audience as well. It was a pleasure. Whoever can reach me through LinkedIn or through Xavier.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Javier. Thank you, Jose Manuel. Thank you, everyone. Remember that this session has been recorded, so if you have to leave and you want to remember something, don't worry, because it will be during the next week. Will be here to see. You can watch it again. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope it has been a useful workshop. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.